The hospital room was a prison of sterile white walls, the air thick with the antiseptic sting that clung to my skin. My son, Ethan, lay motionless in the ICU bed, a tangle of tubes and wires snaking from his frail body, each beep of the monitor a fragile thread tying him to life. I hadn't slept in days, my eyes burning, my heart a knotted fist in my chest. Outside, the world spun on, indifferent, but in here, time was a cruel, suspended thing, every second a negotiation with fate. I was drowning in fear, in love, in the desperate hope that my 9-year-old boy would open his eyes again. And then, as if the universe hadn't already dealt me enough, I discovered the betrayal. My own family, the people I trusted most, had stolen $850,000 from me while I sat by Ethan's side. I warned them, I begged them to stop, but they didn't listen, and when that door blew open, their faces went pale, and the truth crashed through like a storm. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the raw power of love to overcome even the darkest betrayal, please hit that like button, leave a comment, share this story, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your support keeps these stories alive, and I know Ethan's fight will touch your heart as it did mine. My name is Clara, and I was never supposed to be here, in this nightmare of beeping machines and stolen trust. I was a single mother, a high school art teacher who poured every ounce of herself into raising Ethan. He was my light, curly-haired, gap-toothed, with a laugh that could melt the coldest heart. He loved painting, his small hands smearing bright colors across canvases, each one a window into his boundless imagination. But 6 months ago, everything changed. A fever turned into seizures, then a diagnosis, a rare neurological condition that attacked his brain, sending him into a coma. The doctors were kind but guarded, their words a maze of medical jargon that left me clinging to scraps of hope. I took leave from work, sold my car, and drained my savings to cover the mounting hospital bills. Ethan's care was expensive, but he was worth every penny, every sleepless night, every tear. My family, my older brother Mark, his wife Susan, and my cousin Rachel, rallied around me, or so I thought. They brought casseroles, sat with me in the hospital cafeteria, promised to handle my finances so I could focus on Ethan. "We've got you, Clara," Mark said, his hand warm on my shoulder. I believed him. I had to. I was too broken to question the people who shared my blood. The hospital became my world, a bubble of fluorescent lights and whispered prayers. I'd sit by Ethan's bed, holding his small, warm hand, telling him stories about the adventures we'd have when he woke up, camping under the stars, painting murals on our garage wall. The nurses became my second family, the gentle smiles a lifeline. But as weeks turned into months, I noticed small things. My bank account, which I'd entrusted to Mark to manage, was dwindling faster than it should. Bills went unpaid, yet Mark assured me everything was fine. Hospital expenses, he'd say, his eyes darting away. Susan stopped visiting, her texts growing curt. Rachel, always the peacemaker, would change the subject when I asked about the money. I wasn't naive, but grief had dulled my edges. I didn't want to believe my family could betray me, not when Ethan's life hung in the balance. Still, doubt crept in, a slow poison. I started checking my accounts late at night, hunched over my phone in the hospital's dim hallway. The numbers didn't add up. Withdrawals I hadn't authorized. Transfers to accounts I didn't recognize. My heart sank as the truth took shape. My family was stealing from me. I confronted Mark first. It was a rainy Tuesday, the hospital windows streaked with water, mirroring the tears I fought to hold back. I called him to the cafeteria, my voice shaking as I showed him the bank statements. "Explain this," I said, shoving my phone toward him. His face, usually so confident, faltered. He stammered about investments, about temporary loans to help the family. Susan, sitting beside him, clutched her coffee cup, her knuckles white. "We're just trying to keep things stable," she said, but her voice was thin, unconvincing. Rachel, who'd tagged along, stared at the floor, her silence louder than words. I wanted to scream, to shake them until they admitted the truth, but I was too exhausted, too raw. "This is Ethan's money," I said, my voice breaking. "His future, his life. Stop, or I'll go to the police." Mark's eyes darkened, a flash of something I didn't recognize, anger, maybe, or fear. "You're overreacting, Clara," he said. "We're family. Trust us." But trust was a luxury I could no longer afford. The next few weeks were a blur of anguish and suspicion. Ethan's condition remained unchanged, his small chest rising and falling with the rhythm of the ventilator. I barely left his side, but when I did, I dug deeper. I hired a private investigator, a quiet man named Tom who worked for less than he should have because he'd lost a daughter to illness years ago. He understood my pain, my need for answers. Tom uncovered the truth faster than I expected. Mark had siphoned $850,000 from my accounts, money from my late parents' estate, money meant for Ethan's care, into offshore accounts and shady investments. Susan had used some to buy a vacation home, Rachel to pay off gambling debts. My family, the people I'd leaned on, had seen my vulnerability as an opportunity. I felt sick, betrayed in a way that cut deeper than Ethan's illness. I warned them one last time, a letter sent to each, my words sharp and final: "Return the money, or I'll expose you." They didn't respond. I didn't expect them to. But I wasn't prepared for what came next. It was a Thursday evening, the hospital quiet except for the hum of machines. I was reading to Ethan, a dog-eared copy of The Hobbit, when the door to his room burst open. The sound was like a gunshot, jarring me upright. Two men in dark suits stood there, their faces grim, badges glinting under the fluorescent lights. Behind them, Mark, Susan, and Rachel were escorted in, their hands cuffed, their faces pale as ghosts. My heart pounded as the lead agent, a woman with sharp eyes, introduced herself as FBI. Tom's investigation had uncovered more than theft. Mark had tangled with the wrong people, funneling my money into a scheme tied to organized crime. The FBI had been watching, waiting. My warning letter had tipped them off, accelerating their move. Mark tried to speak, his voice a hoarse plea, but the agent silenced him. Susan was crying, Rachel trembling. I wanted to feel vindicated, but all I felt was emptiness. These were my family, my blood, and they'd shattered me. Yet, as they were led away, I looked at Ethan, his face peaceful despite the chaos, and I knew I'd done what I had to. For him, the aftermath was a storm of its own. The FBI recovered most of the money, though some was gone forever. Mark, Susan, and Rachel faced charges, their lives unraveling in courtrooms while I sat by Ethan's side, clinging to hope. The hospital staff, my makeshift family, rallied around me. A nurse named Maria organized a fundraiser, the community pouring in donations to help with Ethan's care. Strangers sent letters, paintings, prayers. It was a reminder that kindness could exist, even in the wake of betrayal. And then, a miracle. 3 months after that night, Ethan opened his eyes. It was slow at first, a flutter, then a squint against the light. I sobbed, clutching his hand, whispering his name. His recovery was long, grueling, but every smile, every word he spoke, was a victory. I forgave my family, not for them, but for me, to let go of the weight that threatened to crush me. I rebuilt my life, piece by piece, with Ethan's laughter as my guide. Looking back, I see a woman who was broken but never defeated. Ethan's fight, my fight, Taught me that love is stronger than betrayal, that hope can burn through the darkest nights. We're not perfect, Ethan still has therapy, and I carry scars that may never fade. But we're together, painting again, laughing again. This story isn't just mine, it's a testament to the resilience of the human heart, to the strangers who become family, to the boy who fought his way back to me. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the power of love and second chances, please like, comment, and share this video on Kindness Speaks. Your support means the world, and it helps us keep telling stories that matter. Before I go, I have one special request. In the comments, share a moment when kindness changed your life. Let's inspire each other, because in a world that can feel so dark, kindness is the light that leads us home.